Welcome back to another Frag Out Friday. And as always, thank you so much for all the love and support thus far. I know I'm a new channel, and I can't thank you guys enough for subscribing, liking on all the videos across all the platforms. And also want to say a special thank you to Rain City Tactical. Thank you for just supporting me and helping me get there. So with that said, let's dive into today's topic of NVGs, what you should or shouldn't buy, why you should buy what I think you should buy, and kind of justifying my opinion on it. So let's take a look at, so this is a set of PVS 14s Gen 2 green phosphorus. This is kind of your entry level night vision device. I've been told it's an NVG now. It's not NVGs. I grew up in the military, and we called everything NVGs, even if it was just a monocle. So I apologize to all the guys out there that are offended when I call them NVGs. But so this is your entry level NVG. Now, cost wise, you're looking at maybe $3,000 or so with a mount. Then obviously you're still going to want a helmet. If you're running a bump helmet, especially, you're going to want some weight in the back. If you're running a ballistic helmet, you probably still want some weight in the back, but not too much. These aren't that heavy. But yeah, so this is your entry level NVG. I'll show you just briefly what it looks like. So this is Gen 2 green phosphorus. So I know it's really close, so I apologize for that, but this is kind of what it looks like. So just to give you an idea, that's, again, Gen 2 green phosphorus, PVS 14. Now, if you wanted to go up from there, up from the $3,000 mark, when you move into the $3,500 to $55-ish before taxes and before mount, you can get a monocle of white phosphorus or Gen 3 on film stuff like this device. Now this one particularly is on the Noise Fighter MK2 pano bridge that is set up with a FLIR breech on the opposite side. Now this device alone will run you, depending on whether or not you got a blemish tube or not blemish tube, which you can save some money. You can probably get into one of these for around $3,500 to $4,000. Excuse me, $4,000. And then you have your pano bridge, which is going to run you, depending on which one you get. I mean, you can spend anywhere from like $500-600 up to like $1,300, depending on which one you get. And then on the opposite side, you have your FLIR breech, and this will run you around $3,000 or so. So I mean, that's kind of like this whole pano bridge setup. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about what I think is the best setup for the money and kind of what people should buy. Now, the first thing you're going to want, right, if you're just talking about being prepared and being able to kind of own the night, you need at least this. You need at least a night vision monocle that you can wear on a helmet that will allow you to pick up and use the targeting system of your IR lasers that are on your weapons so that you can hit the targets at night. To me, that's kind of like priority number one, right? Now, thermal imaging, while great, does have some of its own drawbacks, right? This, as a monocle, allows me to pick out targets that I can see, right? But it doesn't allow me to engage because I can't see them. I can't see my IR light through these, right? So there's kind of that drawback. The other side of it is, now the thermal imaging, if it's a thermal scope and can allow you to engage targets with the rifle or with whatever you have it mounted to, great. Then that works out perfectly. The downside is now you've got a thermal scope mounted to your rifle, and that weapon's basically obsolete because you've probably zeroed that optic to the rifle, and now that's basically just a night rifle. You know what I mean? So there's some give and take as far as like how much you want to be zeroing optics back and forth. So that's why I think this setup is probably the best, but we'll kind of come back to that. So again, having at least the ability to see your stuff at night and engage with it is critical, right? Also, if you're working inside of a team, IR is nice because they do pick up IR light, and so every IR, or I won't say every IR, but night vision devices such as this one or this one, these PVS 14s, they come with a little IR indicator, IR light up here that you can actually flash. I'll show it to you. I won't flash it, but I'll turn it on because I don't have that many hands, but you'll see the difference when looking through this. So you're looking through that, right? And I have it up here. Sorry. Right? Nothing going on. Now if I turn on the IR light on the front, which I can kind of like flash with my hand if I needed to, but I'll just turn it on. Allows for someone else to see that, right? It's an IR illuminator. Now, if I wanted to communicate with somebody else who has night vision, I could look at them and get their attention by flashing them in Morse code or whatever code we have set up or what have you, right? Can't do that with infrared, or I can't do that with with thermal. So that is another benefit to having infrared across, especially if you're fortunate enough to be working inside a team, whether that be even if it's just you and one other person, that insanely increases your odds of success if you're not out there running around alone, right? So this is your entry point. Getting into white phosphorus, if you can, do it. It is gonna benefit you. It is a cleaner system. Now, one of the biggest differences you'll notice between a Gen 3 tube, especially unfilmed, versus a Gen 2 tube and green phosphorus is the depth and distances you're able to see, especially with this being auto gated. It handles light way better. Here, I'll show you quickly again what this looks like. So you have that image. It's trying to focus through there. Maybe I'll get it closer. Sorry about that. There you go. So that's what white phosphorus looks like. And then here, I'll turn the thermals on really quick so you can see. Now, the cool thing about why I think this is the best setup, right? Here, I'll show you the thermals really quick. Is that thermal imaging that you're seeing? Right, it's really hard for me to show this up close. Maybe I can do another video later about this. But why I tell people I think that running this setup over dual tubes is better is because when I run this setup, right, my brain will naturally take that thermal image and overlap it onto the night vision image, right? So I'm getting to see both spectrums at the same time. Now, if I'm running dual tubes, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting the thermal imaging. I'm getting a little bit more field of view, but I'm not getting that thermal imaging. Now, another important part of that is when I'm running dual tubes, right? Okay, if you're going to run dual tubes, first of all, make sure that you're not getting a set that has to go only up and down on its own. Make sure that you can get a pair of tubes that can articulate alone. I think that that's super important, especially running, if you're going to be doing anything CQB related. If you're running both tubes down and you happen to, let's say, run into another formidable force that also has IR capabilities, that they're shining IR lights in your face, then you're potentially blinded, right? If I happen to be running dual tubes like this and have thermal on one side and this on the other, I'm not going to be able to engage as easily, right, with the thermals. But that's why if they're separated like this, I can run one up and one down, and if I have to engage and one eye gets blinded by another IR light, then I can still engage with my normal light and my normal sights on my gun. So that's just kind of my take on that, and that's really why I think dual tubes are kind of a thing of the past. Now, they do make the COTI systems which are basically a thermal imaging device that attach to the bottom of the PVS-14 and project a thermal image into here. But now you're talking about attaching something else to the front of this that can only be seen through one of these as well, and takes a whole nother battery, right? Whereas I can just run this system and have basically a similar field of view, but with a thermal overlay, and I can take pictures, video, I can record things, and I'm getting an azimuth given to me inside of the monocle, which I think is just another piece of data that is live, that I get live updates on, which is, a good thing. So, and all in, so your entry point on a dual tube system is like 10 to 12 grand to really get you into something that's like worth buying, in my opinion. This setup, you're thousands less, and you're getting thermal. Like, I just don't really think that it's to me, again, this is my opinion, I don't think it's really comparable, especially for the everyday user, or prepper, or whoever's wanting to be ready to engage targets at night. I think this is kind of the best system. Also, I would highly recommend, if you're going to run, if you are going to go out and try to run this system, the Noise Fighters MK2 bridge is probably one of the better ones. I like it a lot. I like the fact that it's really easy and simple to use. It's extremely quiet. It's very rigid. You can change the rigidity of it just by tightening or loosening the screws. It articulates both ways, both up and down and horizontally, which is pretty awesome, especially when you're trying to get the right fit for your eye. And mostly because this is a camera system, it has like a square box, and so basically you would line this one up first to make sure that it's like level, and then because this is a tube and it's circular, it doesn't have to be perfect, that you would want to kind of mess with the system second, or line them up second. That's just the best way that I can kind of describe how to set that up. So another thing is the ability to actually get these devices. These are pretty readily available. Same with Gen 3 white phos, especially if you want to find like a blemish tube and save yourself some cash. Getting brand new tubes or getting unblemished tubes that are completely clean and free, clear and free, is going to run you a lot more money, and there's wait times sometimes of like 16 plus weeks. So kind of take that information for what it's worth as well. I hope that this answered some of your guys' questions that I've been getting. And I hope that if you guys have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm definitely open and willing to do more videos about these, or about just night vision in general, or thermals in general. But this was just a quick discussion about why I think this is the next kind of best thing, or the best setup for civilian purchases, because it saves you money, it gets you into where you want to be, and gives you a thermal capability. But again, don't forget, this is your starting point. You got to be able to engage with your IR lasers and stuff that you have on your guns. So that's it. Thanks for tuning into another Frag Out Friday. If you guys liked the video, please hit that subscribe button, share it in the comments below, slam that notification bell home, and I will see you guys on Moto Monday. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, stay loose, battle on, and if you bitch in your heart, it'll show.